Have you ever done everything right? You go to bed early, you clock a full 8 hours, and you still wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck? It is one of the absolute most frustrating feelings in the world. And it turns out the solution might just be the exact opposite of what you've always been told.
I mean, if this question right here hits home for you, you are so not alone. So many of us are just trapped in this cycle thinking, well, more time in bed has to be the answer, right? But what if it isn't? What if spending more time in bed is actually the very reason you wake up exhausted? Let's unpack that.
This quote just gets right to the heart of the problem. That number, 8 hours, it's been thrown around forever like it's some law of physics, but it's not. And honestly, clinging to that number could be sabotaging your rest.
That's right, we're calling it a lie, or, at best, a really misleading average. Believing in a one-size-fits-all rule for something as personal and biological as sleep, well, that's where most of us go wrong right from the start.
So this is the crucial shift in perspective we need to have. Your sleep need isn't some universal goal you have to hit. It's a biological baseline, and it's uniquely yours. I mean, think about it. We don't expect everyone to be the same height, right? Same thing here. Some people genuinely thrive on 6.5 hours, while others really do need 9. And neither is better or worse. They're just different.
And this is really the key. If your body only needs, say, 7 hours of sleep, forcing yourself to stay in bed for 8 doesn't get you an extra hour of rest. Nope, it just gets you an extra hour of frustration, staring at the ceiling, wondering what on earth you're doing wrong.
Okay, so this brings us to the metric that really changes the game. We need to stop obsessing over the quantity of hours we spend in bed and start focusing on the quality of the sleep we're actually getting during that time.
And this right here is your new North Star for rest, sleep efficiency. It's simple, really. If you spend 8 hours in bed, but you're only actually asleep for 6 of those hours, your sleep efficiency is 75%. The goal isn't just more time in bed, it's getting that percentage as high as possible.
So, just look at this comparison. Who do you think wakes up feeling better? It's the person with high efficiency, hands down. I mean, they spent 2 fewer hours in bed, but got 45 times more minutes of actual restorative sleep. This is exactly why time in bed can be such a deceptive number.
I just love this quote because it is so painfully true. Lying there with your eyes shut, your mind just racing about all the things you have to do tomorrow, your brain doesn't give you credit for effort. It knows you're not recovering or repairing anything. You're just still.
And here is where it gets dangerous. It creates this nasty feedback loop. By staying in bed trying to force sleep, you're accidentally training your brain that your bed is a place for anxious thinking and being awake. It becomes a conditioned response, and it's a cycle that we have to break.
So how do we fix this whole mess? Well, we stop guessing, and we start gathering our own data. It's time to run a simple, 2-week experiment to find your actual sleep number, not some generic average you read online.
Okay, here's your protocol. The most important part, the anchor, is a consistent wake-up time. No exceptions. Now, the real test isn't how you feel the second you wake up. Almost everyone is groggy then. The real test is your mid-afternoon energy. That 2 p.m. slump, that's your body telling you the truth. So, adjust your bedtime in tiny, 15-minute chunks based on that signal until you find your sweet spot.
All right, so once you have your target number, the next step is to make every single one of those hours count. And I gotta tell you, some of the most effective strategies are gonna sound completely backwards, but they are absolutely backed by decades of clinical research.
Yes, you read that right. It's a clinically proven technique called sleep restriction therapy. The actual prescription is literally to spend less time in bed. I know, it sounds like a prank, but here's why it actually works.
So, by limiting your time in bed to only the hours you're actually sleeping, you concentrate what's called sleep pressure. That's the biological drive to sleep that builds up the longer you're awake. This makes your sleep deeper, more consolidated, and it powerfully retrains your brain to see the bed as a place for sleep, and only for sleep.
Now, this is a critical rule to pair with that sleep restriction idea. If you're not asleep in about 20 minutes, get up. Seriously, leave the bedroom, go read a dull book in very dim light. The whole goal is to break that cycle of horizontal anxiety and only go back to bed when you are genuinely, truly sleepy.
And of course, your environment is just crucial. Your body needs to drop its core temperature to start the sleep process, so keep your room cool. It needs total, complete darkness to produce melatonin, so get some tape and cover every single one of those tiny little LEDs.
And it needs quiet, because even small noises can pull you out of deep sleep without you even realizing it. Basically, your bedroom should feel like a cave. And hey, let's talk about caffeine for a second. It has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. So what that means is, if you have a coffee at 3 in the afternoon, a quarter of that caffeine is still buzzing around your system at 3 in the morning. So here's the simple formula. Take your bedtime and subtract 8 hours. That's your cutoff. No exceptions.
Okay, I know this is a lot of information, so let's put it all together into a simple, step-by-step plan that you can actually start using tonight.
Here we go. Week 1 is all about the foundations. Lock in that wake time and dial in your environment. Week 2, we add the caffeine cutoff and a wind-down routine with dim lights. Week 3 is when you start to gently compress your sleep window and use that 20-minute rule. And week 4 is about cementing it all with a powerful morning routine. Remember, this is not about perfection. It's just about consistent progress.
Okay, and this is a really, really important warning. This is all about sleeping smarter, not dangerously depriving yourself of sleep. If you start experiencing these signs, like needing caffeine just to feel human, having intense cravings, or zoning out for a second, you've pushed it too far. Please listen to your body. Add back 15 or 30 minutes of sleep time. The goal here is to feel amazing, not just to survive. So let's end on this thought. We've all been taught to think of sleep as this passive state that we just fall into. But what if that's wrong? What if sleep is an active skill, something that can be learned and practiced and refined? Because once you start seeing it that way, you realize you have way more control than anyone ever told you. The power to wake up refreshed isn't about getting more hours, it's about what you do with them.